by the 2014 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car 16 years in a row, and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays. And by Home Hardware, homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Welcome to Rogers Center on a gorgeous afternoon. The Blue Jays got knocked off their horse last night, but they got to get back up in the saddle today and handle the Detroit Tigers. Tigers have a 2.5-game lead in the AL Central Division, and they won a big one last night. Came back in the ninth inning to score 3 runs off Casey Jansen. Former Blue Jay Rajai Davis has been a hot hitter over his last 17 games. He's hit over 300 with 5 doubles, had 2 doubles in the game here last night. And then Victor Martinez, the switch-hitting DH, a terrific hitter throughout his career. And he continues to swing a hot bat over his last 8 games. He's hit .345 with a pair of homers and 8 RBIs. This is a tough lineup, and they'll get their first look at 23-year-old Marcus Stroman.
Marcus Stroman is coming off his shortest outing of his career as a starter. That was against the Astros last time out, and it started pretty good for him. He retired the first 7 batters he faced, and then the roof caved in on him. He said he was up in the strike zone. He couldn't finish off batters after he got ahead in the count against the Houston Astros, and he was actually knocked out in the 4th inning. Takes a 7-3, 349 earned run average into this ball game this afternoon.
He was cruising through the Astros lineup, as you mentioned, and then ran into a brick wall in the 4th. Take a look at the defense behind Marcus Stroman. It's Cabrera, Gose, and Bautista from left to right in the outfield. Kawasaki and Reyes on the left side, Goins and Francisco on the right side, and Deanna Navarro catching for the 70th time this season behind the plate.
And at shortstop, Jose Reyes in his familiar position. He made 6 plays, involved in 6 plays last night, including that sparkling play off the bat of Miguel Cabrera, showing some very good arm strength from deep in the hole.
First pitch is cut on by Rajai Davis, and he is late. Rajai, 2 for 5 last night, made a nice sliding catch to end the ball game in foul ground. What are you looking for from Stroman to indicate he's going to be better today than he was his last time out?
I think a great breaking ball. That's what's been very good for him. Last time out, the ball was just rolling over the plate.
There's a base hit for Rajai Davis. Bautista over near the line. He's going to throw behind the runner, and that ball hit, and now he's going to second base. Francisco's throw is not in time. Somebody better grab that baseball and hold on to it for a while. Rajai Davis, a single to right. Bautista throwing behind the runner. The ball may have hit Davis and bounced far enough away to allow him to advance.
With that great speed, his ball doesn't have to go very far. Fastball, and he, just like yesterday, hits the ball to right field. Now Jose comes up and he's going to try and catch Rajai napping, but he gets up, ball hits him, and you can see it doesn't go very far. With that great speed, he's in scoring position already. Jose came up throwing. It almost looked like Rajai kicked at that
ball. The air is charged to the first baseman, Juan Francisco, his second air. Looked like a pretty good throw, but it appeared as though Davis and the baseball got to the bag at the same time. So Rajai, you better keep your eye on him at second. He loves to steal third. Makes a break, and Kinsler takes a strike.
And what that does is that opens up holes in the infield. Right now it's Jose Reyes. Blue Jays are playing percentages. The shortstop holding him on right around the bag.
Kinsler hits a high fly ball into center. Davis halfway between second and third. 1 down. The Super Slow-Mo is brought to you by Jose Cuervo, the world's best-selling tequila. Have a story with Jose Cuervo.
You're talking about that play at first base. Well, let's slow it down and take a look at it. What happened on that play with Rajai Davis? You can see him going back to the bag, and that's why Juan Francisco was charged with the air. It actually went off of his glove first before Rajai banged off of his body.
If Francisco catches it, Davis is out. So 1 down, Miguel Cabrera. Now they got Davis picked out. Marcus Stroman made a great throw to second, and Rajai Davis is out. Stroman's a great athlete. He's a former infielder. He's played second base in college, and he had an idea. He put a pickoff play on with Goins, and Rajai's still at second base. Brad Osmus a very slow walk, and you know what this means.
Yeah, and that's why he is at second, and we say, come on back. We already looked at the review, and you are out. Watch the speed at which Marcus fires a strike to second base. Spins, and it's down low on the third base side of the bag, so Ryan Goins, all he has to do is catch it, lay his glove in the dirt, and a big out for Stroman.
Huge out. Erases that runner from scoring position. Now you're working to Miguel Cabrera. So Davis, a single, went to second on the air. Now he's picked off an eventful trip around the bases. Bounce back to Stroman. Miguel Cabrera continues to struggle against the Jays. It took Stroman just 7 pitches to retire the side in order. They lost a tough one last night, 5-4 in the top of the 9th inning. Top of the order is Jose Reyes. Melky Cabrera batting second, and since the break he's been a red-hot hitter. 31 hits and 81 at-bats, 11 extra base hits, 15 driven in for the number 2 hitter. And then right behind him, how about a potent bat to go up against Max Scherzer? Jose Bautista is 8 for 14 against Scherzer, and Bautista is supported by Deanna Navarro, who's done a nice job in that cleanup spot.
Max Scherzer now in his 5th season with the Tigers, makes his 24th start of the season. Suffered a loss Monday at New York. Gave up 2 runs in 7 innings. That snapped a streak of 7 straight starts without a loss by Scherzer.
Scherzer delivers that first pitch strike right at the bottom of the zone to Jose Reyes. 281 for Reyes on the season. Max Scherzer, another terrific season. He is 13-4 with a 3.24 earned run average. This is popped up on the infield. Suarez, the shortstop, right near the bag at second, makes the catch. Reyes is retired, 1 down. Now the outfield for the Tigers is J.D. Martinez, former Blue Jay Rajai Davis, and the Gold Glover Torrey Hunter in right on the infield. Nick Castellanos, he had a rough night defensively last night. Suarez is the shortstop. Ian Kinsler the second baseman. Cabrera and Holiday. Brian Holiday gets the start behind the plate tonight.
To get David Price, one of the players they had to give up was Austin Jackson, center field. So Rajai Davis is going to play every day out there for the Tigers. He leads the team in outfield assists with 6 this year. Rajai getting his chance in center field every day now.
Melky Cabrera, 31 hits since the All-Star break. 314 average for Melky. You're looking at 2 of the premier free agents after this season. Max Scherzer on the mound, Melky Cabrera at the plate. They're both going to be free agents after this season. Max Scherzer turned down 6 years, $144 million from the Tigers. Up and in, he pushes Cabrera back. Remember, Melky got hit on that right elbow by Miguel Gonzalez in the Orioles series. He's wearing that pressure bandage on his right elbow.
It didn't seem to affect him yesterday. It looked like he was a normal Melky.
Changeup, and you can see an awful lot of changeups from Max Scherzer. He has really taken the step to the next level since he's introduced that changeup into the mix.
Yeah. He's always had the great fastball and breaking ball. He now has that third pitch that's really taken him to the next level since he came to the Tigers.
Scherzer was originally drafted inside with the Arizona Diamondbacks out of University of Missouri. He grew up in Missouri and went to school at Columbia. He was involved in a 3-team trade, and it was a big trade. He and Daniel Schlereth came to the Tigers from Arizona. Curtis Granderson went to New York from the Tigers. Austin Jackson came from the Yankees along with Phil Koch. A lot of movement in that 3-team deal.
And the Tigers got the best of that one.
And a backdoor breaking ball. Scherzer strikes out Melky Cabrera. We talk about Scherzer and how he has really turned into a premier pitcher. You look at his numbers over the first 5 seasons, and he has really stepped it up lately.
And this is why, over the last 2 seasons, he's taken it to the next level. You can see the numbers going down because of the introduction of the changeup. He's used that exclusively against left-handers. It's another weapon that he can get them out with. He's got the great breaking ball and the great fastball. And he sat and watched a guy and learned from a guy here in Detroit what it meant to use the changeup.
Now, it doesn't hurt to be involved with Justin Verlander and watch him work. Verlander, of course, a former Cy Young Award winner himself. Author of 2 no-hitters. Scherzer pushes Bautista back. It's 2 balls and no strikes.
One of the things the Blue Jays have done over the last 15 games is they've jumped ahead in the first inning. They have outscored the opponents 15-2 in the first inning. It just hasn't translated into enough wins for them.
Well, that's that little cut fastball that caught the inside corner. Bautista has hit Scherzer hard. He is 8 for 14 with a home run. He's also hit 4 doubles against the Tiger righty. Well, that's perfect pitch. Great location, down and away. Scherzer lost that last start in New York to the Yankees 2-1. And he had a great fastball late into the game. In the 7th inning, he threw a fastball 97 miles an hour on an 0-2 pitch to Ellsbury. Breaking ball up the middle. Bautista continues to get his hits against Scherzer. That's 9 for 15 for Bautista now.
And he'll take what the pitcher gives him. Saw the big 2-0 swing for the home run, and now with 2 strikes. Watch how he cuts his swing down. It's a slider that'll help him stay on that ball, and he sends it right back through the middle. That average getting closer and closer to 300 for Jose Bautista.
Well, he's done a great job considering he hasn't had 3 key bats in the lineup to support him. Deanna Navarro, 76, and he's really been a very adequate fill-in for Edwin Encarnacion in the cleanup spot. First pitch swinging, lifts a high fly ball to right. Torrey Hunter with the sunglasses on, stays with it, makes the catch. Bautista gets a 2-out single. Blue Jays don't score in their half of the first. The Tigers, when you look at Victor Martinez and his home runs by pitch type versus right-handed pitchers, he is all over the place. He covers the entire strike zone, and he'll hit just about any pitch out of the ballpark.
And every one of those, look at all the different colors for the different types of pitches that he can hit out of the ballpark. The fastball, the cutter, slider, curve, changeup, a little bit of everything. Versus left-handed pitching, he hits for a higher average. Versus right-handed pitching, when he is batting left-handed, he hits for a little bit more power. 14 of his 23 home runs have come from the left side here.
303 average as a left-handed hitter. 14 home runs and 46 driven in as a left-handed hitter. Victor Martinez, you can bet he's going to look at some pitches against Stroman. He hasn't faced Marcus Stroman. This is the first time the Tigers have seen him, so you want to check out what you're dealing with.
Especially when you're leading off an inning, take a look at all of his pitches. So when you come up later in the ball game, if there's runners on base, you have a game plan. Have an idea what that curveball looks like.
He's been hot over his last 8 games. He's at 345 with a pair of homers. Martinez continues to survey Marcus Stroman.
Took a little something off that pitch right there. 2-0. Looked like an off-speed pitch. Martinez, one of the better fastball hitters in baseball. There's another off-speed pitch.
John Navarro knows Martinez very well. Obviously, they've both been in the majors a long time. He's going to make sure he pitches to Stroman's strengths. Victor Martinez taking second strike. He's got a full count now. Torrey Hunter is on deck. Victor Martinez is the best 2-strike hitter in the majors, batting .314. This is a long drive down the left side. Marcus Stroman trying to bounce back from a tough outing against the Astros last time out. He's got an extra day's rest. Breaking ball, foul. Stroman was just flat in his last start. No question about it. He didn't have that same velocity on his fastball. There was not a whole lot of quick bite on his breaking ball. Ball was just rolling up there.
Might have been some of the residue from his previous start before that when he threw 115 pitches, which was a career high. Tough to come back from that and have the same kind of stuff. He was saying that the ball was up and he just didn't have the breaking ball to finish off those batters.
Another good at bat by Victor Martinez. We mentioned his batting average with 2 strikes at .314. The major league average with 2 strikes is .177. Gives you an idea what a great hitter Martinez is.
And he doesn't strike out a whole lot either. So if you get him, you're doing something special.
Takes a leadoff walk. Another fruitful at bat for Victor Martinez. Marcus Stroman, just a youngster getting his feet on the ground in the big league, but he has a wide assortment of pitches.
Just got the fastball. He could also cut the fastball. They're hitting .292 off the cutter. Slider, he's introduced a 2-seam changeup also. A 2-seamer where it can go into the right-handers. But I think his best pitch right now is that biting curveball. They're hitting just 182 against it. It's a finishing pitch for Marcus Stroman where he can get a lot of strikeouts.
Torrey Hunter, mired in a slump. He is just 2 for his last 20. He got hit on his left hand in New York while facing Brandon McCarthy. Missed a couple of games, and that might have affected his swing recently.
Still some production right there from Hunter. 15 home runs and 62 driven in.
Torrey Hunter struck out 3 times last night. He had a single in his first at bat. There are the numbers we mentioned. Just a 100 average over his last 6 games. There's that good two-seam fastball. It's a new wrinkle that Stroman has added. When you think back to Marcus Stroman in the spring, he didn't throw his curveball for some reason, and we didn't see that two-seam fastball. He was trying to make the team. In his mind, he had an outside shot at making a 5-man rotation that he would eventually come up as a reliever. And then after a abbreviated stint, he went back to the minor leagues and got back into the starter's role. Torrey Hunter bounces it to third. Kawasaki second for one. Back to first. What a turn. Kawasaki threw a strike right over the bag at second base, and Ryan Goins is quick as a cat around the bag. He turned it and doubled up Torrey Hunter.
I think it all started with the play of Kawasaki at third base. He gets to the ball quickly, and watch how quickly he gets rid of it and throws a strike to Goins. No place for Victor Martinez to go. You see him going into second base. He was not going to slide until Goins made him get down.
Victor was looking for a hole to crawl into. Double play. J.D. Martinez, the left fielder, had a big double in the ninth inning off of Casey Jansen, a leadoff double. That set the table for Castellanos' 2-run homer. This is prior to this last half inning. Rajai Davis talking to J.D. Martinez about Marcus Stroman, what he saw in his first at bat. Pull to Kawasaki. Big hop at third. Another good inning. Marcus Stroman has faced the minimum through 2 innings. It's a scoreless game. We're headed to the bottom of the second. Cap. It'll happen tomorrow, and it's all presented by Honda. Sunday, August 10th, Blue Jays will wrap up this series with the Tigers. It all starts at 1:07 p.m. The first 20,000 fans in the Rogers Center will receive a replica Blue Jays BP cap. Call the Jays at 416-341-1234 or log online at BlueJays.com and get your tickets for tomorrow's series finale against the Tigers, and you'll get a BP cap. Colby Rasmus hitting in the 5th spot. He's the DH this afternoon. Rasmus as the DH. This is the 8th time he has served as the DH. John Gibbons likes to get Gose into the mix defensively, and he'll do that with Rasmus DHing from time to time.
On this homestand, we have seen Gose in left and center. He'll play right field also to give Jose Bautista half a day off, so Jose can DH.
Rasmus pulls it foul.
That's what your fourth outfielder is supposed to do.
Yeah, he's supposed to be able to give you all the defensive positions and goes much like Rajai Davis in the past, filling that role for the Blue Jays and doing it very well. Rajai Davis, of course, is a big void that the Blue Jays don't have this year. His terrific speed off the bench won several games for the Jays over the last couple of years. Off-speed breaking ball, Rasmus strikes out, and Scherzer, he will make you think about the kitchen sink. He throws a little bit of everything and changes speeds on all of his pitches.
Let's take a look at what Max Scherzer will feature. The fastball, it's about 95, 96. He can maintain it if he needs to. Change up, slider, and the curveball. The one that got Colby Rasmus looked like the sweeping curveball. And Max Scherzer has had to take it to the next level in his last few starts. Against Kansas City, he got roughed up in 4 innings, 10 hits, 10 earned runs, but since that start, he has really taken his game to the next level.
Juan Francisco goes after the first pitch. That start against Kansas City was on the 17th of June. Season high 10 earned runs allowed by Scherzer. And since then, in 8 starts, he's gone 5-1 with a 2.14 ERA. A little bit of a wake-up call for Scherzer. He gets banged around by the Royals in a start at Comerica, and since then he has been rock solid.
That was the last time he lost until his last time out. Tough luck loss to the Yankees.
It was a scoreless game in the bottom of the third. He gave up 3 straight singles to Ichiro, Gardner, and Jeter. And then Jacoby Ellsbury hit a deep drive to center. Ezekiel Carrera made a diving catch. Saved a couple of runs. Torrey Hunter backing up, battling the sun. Plays it off to his side and makes the catch. 2 down.
Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Brought to you by the 2014 Honda Civic. Canada's best-selling car 16 years in a row. And the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Picture perfect day at Rogers Center. Great day for baseball. Great day for anything. Munenori Kawasaki. He had another good game last night. Kawasaki had a leadoff double in the second, had a sacrifice bunt in the third, and singled in the fifth. Here he bounces one to second. In between Hopper Kinsler. Scherzer quickly through the second inning. 3 up, 3 down. We'll go to the third. It's a scoreless game. From Sportsnet.ca cover every angle of the Toronto Blue Jays. Breaking news, photos, videos, and tweets. A one-stop shop for everything Blue Jays. The Blue Jays Rundown only on Sportsnet.ca. The Jays are trying to stay close in trying times, and you can really put that in 2 different concepts. Lots of pretty ladies at the ballpark today having a good time in the sunshine. But by staying close, they can get together as a team. By staying close, you can talk about the standings. So there's a couple different meanings to that headline.
And when you get your regular players back, you stay close, maybe they can get you over the hump. Edwin Encarnacion's supposed to play in a rehab game today.
Edwin has missed 28 games. He's last played on the 5th of July, and boy, oh boy, 277, 26, and 70. You missed those numbers. Nick Castellanos, the third baseman. Strike 3 call. 3-pitch strikeout for Stroman. Castellanos backing the lumber back to the dugout. First strikeout of the afternoon for Stroman.
And he does it with his fastball. A couple quick ones to get ahead, and he's going to backdoor. That looked like a two-seamer right there, where he paints that outside corner. We were talking in the opening, his starts here at the Rogers Center, he's had pinpoint control of that fastball.
Here at home, a 5-1 record with a 282 earned run average. Brian Holiday lifts a high pop. That's going to hit on the warning chart. No, it didn't. The fan leaned over and made a nice catch. That's why it's good to be in the first row. Holiday giving the regular Alex Avila a day off. Day game after a night game. Another foul back. Holiday is 26 years old. He was a 6th round draft pick of the Tigers in 2010. Spent 4 years in the minor leagues, and he's up here now as a backup.
Yeah, he doesn't have 100 at bats yet this season.
Holiday hit his first major league home run off a Canadian, Andrew Albers of Minnesota. Albers from North Battlefield, Saskatchewan, hit that home run in August of 2013. Breaking ball. Whoa, why not? Number 4 looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, that's on pitch track there, right down and away, right where you want it. Come right back with the same pitch.
2-2. Got a piece of it. We have talked about this in the past, how the umpires are now under one umbrella. There's no American League ump, National League ump, and I think that creates problems for the umpires. They're not as familiar with the players as they used to be. They used to stay in their respective leagues, and they got to know pitchers. They got to know the catchers. That's not the case any longer. Pulled to third. Kawasaki gobbles it up. They had plenty of time. The Tigers hit back-to-back home runs in the 9th, and Eugenio Suarez, he got the big one. He got the game winner in the 9th. Castellanos goes deep first with a man on off Casey Jansen. And then one pitch later, the shortstop Suarez goes deep to center field for the game winner.
Looked like it might have been a cutter. It banged off that black part of the building in center field for the home run. 10 home runs are the most home runs that he has hit in the minor leagues this season. I was talking to a scout today who's been watching him. He says he's got some pop. He's thick-chested shortstop who's going to grow, and he's going to hit some home runs.
6th time the Tigers have gone back-to-back this season. It's interesting, the Tigers went back-to-back in the 9th inning for the 2nd time this year. Castellanos on the left, the third baseman, hit a 2-run home run. That tied it up, and then Suarez right behind him with the game winner.
They are the only team to do that this year.
The other time they had back-to-back homers in the 9th inning, May 13th against the Orioles. Way outside, now 3-1.
Back-to-back home runs to take the lead in the 9th and win the ball game.
Rajai Davis has already picked up a hit today. He was picked off second in the first inning, and now Stroman walks the number 9 hitter. Second walk issued by Marcus Stroman. That'll turn the lineup over back to the top for Rajai Davis. Rajay signed with the Tigers as a free agent. Davis is now 33 years old. He has had a wonderful career given the fact he was a 33rd round pick, actually 38th round pick in 2001 by the Pirates. Boy, he is wearing out the right side of this field. 2 out hit, first and second, 2 down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. And the good news for the Indians is that they have Corey Kluber on the mound, and he has had some season this year. Another day game in New York. Of course, Blue Jays very interested in what's going on with the Yankees now as they trail the New York Yankees.
They drop behind the Yankees in the standings in the American League East. That one might be over now with Corey Kluber on the mound. He's been great for the Indians.
12-6 with a .255 earned run average. He's thrown 165 and 2/3 innings. He's turned into a real horse. Little tapper out in front of home plate. Stroman takes his time, and Kinsler's retired. The Tigers, a stranded pair, still a scoreless game. Is in support of Food Banks Canada. Continues tomorrow. Bring your non-perishable food items and cash donations to Rogers Center. There are grab bags available for a monetary donation. Call the Blue Jays for tickets at 416-341-1234 or log online at bluejays.com, and we like that. Just keep bringing those 20s out and make donations to the Lady Jays food drive.
I heard they had a good day yesterday. Today looks like it's off to a good start, and they'll be out there again tomorrow.
45,000 expected here today and tomorrow at Rogers Center. Ryan Goins in the 8th spot. Ryan was in the middle of a 5-4-3 double play that they turned on Torrey Hunter in the second inning. A little bit of a struggle lately, just 3 for 21 in August. When he first got back from AAA Buffalo, he drove in some big runs. Right back to Scherzer. 1 down.
This is how we do it. Now batting, Anthony Ghost.
It's Junior Jays on Saturday, presented by Boston Pizza. And as you can hear, the Junior Jays get to announce the lineups today. Just one of the many fun activities taking place on Junior Jays Saturday. It's all presented by Boston Pizza. Anthony Gose, 239 average. Wails at the first pitch and fouls it out of play. Anthony hit his first home run of the season here on Thursday against Miguel Gonzalez.
Says he got all of that one. That was his best bolt. Fastball on the inner half.
Unfortunately, it was the only run in the Blue Jays 2-1 loss to the Orioles.
There's some hidden power in his swing. As soon as he learns to get that timing a little bit more consistent at the plate and catch the ball out in front. See, he's got that little bit of a leg kick, and at times that throws off his timing. He'll rifle some balls over the third base dugout, being a little bit late. If he ever gets that down, there's some extra base power in that swing.
It's really kind of interesting because you raise a great point about timing and getting that foot down. That's basically what turned around Jose Bautista's career when he first got here. He had a similar kind of leg kick, but his timing was off. He was late on fastballs. Cedar Gaston, Dwayne Murphy worked hard to improve that timing, and the rest is history, of course.
Just get it started a little bit earlier and get the foot down a little earlier.
Believe me, I'm not suggesting that Anthony Gose is going to develop into a home run champ, but I think there's going to be some extra base power there.
Right. I'm with you. I remember when he first came up in Oakland, he tripled off the left field wall at that ballpark.
Well, there's that good changeup. 3 strikeouts now for Scherzer, and that changeup has been a weapon for him over his last 8 starts.
And it has been a sure thing over those last 8 starts. 5-1 with a 214 earned run average. He's striking people out. Some of the teams that he beat at Los Angeles Angels, which is a big win. He beat the Dodgers. He beat Tampa Bay. He's got some weapons for you.
He has been a sure thing lately. That was all after that beating he took at the hands of the Royals. 10 earned runs on 10 hits in over just 4 innings. Jose Reyes, bouncing ball, big hop for Suarez. Quick inning for Scherzer. 3 up, 3 down in the 3rd. Our guests of TD. While over in the Jays Care Community Clubhouse are folks from the Jays Care Rookie League. Welcome to the ballpark, and good luck to you and your teammates in the Jays Care Rookie League. We hope you're having a great summer. Lots of good kids on hand and a lot of fans on hand here at Rogers Center. So far, it's a pitcher's duel. Scoreless game, only 3 hits in the game. Marcus Stroman and Max Scherzer. Miguel Cabrera grounded out in the first. Miguel Cabrera against the Blue Jays this year is 1 for 17.
Yeah. Don't say that too loud because he might be due. We haven't seen him hit the ball to right field yet. He's one of the best right-handed hitters going the other way.
Taking a shot right there. He was on that pitch but fouled it back. How much do you think the offseason surgery has impacted his season this year? He had a torn core muscle. Remember at the end of last year he could barely walk.
Still played every day. You could say it probably does. Maybe it's cut down his power. He's still hitting over 300 and he's driven in 84 runs. His 17 home runs, I say just 17. He's usually up around 25, high 20s right now.
One of the premier hitters the game has ever seen. Al Kaline calls him the best right-handed hitter he's ever seen, and I'll take Al Kaline's word for it. Kawasaki knocked him to his feet. Cabrera 0 for 2. Mooney's played well defensively at third. He's certainly not a prototypical third baseman, doesn't have that arm strength, but he understands his limitations.
Stay low on balls like this. Get down where you can see that ball right into your glove. He knows he's got some time because the ball got to him so quickly. He's made some nice plays here the last couple of days at third base.
Munenori played about 70 games his rookie season in Japan, 2003, and he said that's the last time he's really played third base until this year. Victor Martinez drew a leadoff walk in the second. He was erased on the double play. It's a high fly ball. Bautista ranging back in the alley. Ghost calls him off and makes the catch. 2 down.
So far, so good for Marcus Stroman this afternoon.
Well, I think he's had a few hiccups in his young career, and everybody goes through them. But you mentioned 115 pitch total 2 starts ago, and that had an impact. And it's happened to him twice this year. When he threw 115 pitches on the 4th of July at Oakland, he came back against the Angels and lasted just 3 2/3.
And that start, the one against the Angels, looked just like the start against the Astros when he followed up that 115 pitch outing. Just didn't have the break on his curveball, the snapping curveball, or the giddy up on his fastball.
The numbers are almost identical in those 2 short starts after the games in which he threw 115 pitches. Now, you know me, I'm not a pitch count guy, but you're dealing with a young pitcher that's just making his 13th major league start. He's going to get stronger. He's going to get his man strength, as you hear coaches talk about, where he really matures and builds up the stamina. Stroman. Francisco. 3 up, 3 down. We'll go to bottom of the 4th. Blue Jays have no runs on 1 hit. Meat of their order coming up. Melky Cabrera, Jose Bautista, Deanna Navarro, 2, 3, and 4. and the new WWE NetPack subscription service. Relive epic WWE moments with hours of on-demand content and every live pay-per-view, including SummerSlam. Free preview begins Tuesday on Rogers Channel 512. Call your local service provider for details or visit WWE.com for more information. It is Cabrera, Bautista, and Navarro facing Scherzer here. Bottom of the fourth, scoreless game. Max Scherzer making his fourth start here at Rogers Center. He's 3-0. Pitching away from Detroit against the Blue Jays with a .233 earned run average in this ballpark. The interesting thing, he has gone 3-0 because the Tigers have scored 7, 6, and 6 in his 3 previous starts here. They've given him plenty of run support.
That certainly helps, but he's a pretty good pitcher. He's the kind of guy, as the season wears along, he seems to get stronger.
That's pulled past Cabrera into right. Melky Cabrera with a leadoff base hit. Scherzer right behind the base runner at first, but Hunter chose not to make a throw. Melky Cabrera gets a hit a day.
Got one in last night's game, and he's going to pull this one by Cabrera, the first baseman, and out into right field. Day game like this in August, that field gets fast, spongy, it's quick. That time he just ripped that one by Cabrera.
Melky is like a vitamin. You get one a day.
Tell you what, the thing about him, he hits good pitchers.
Doesn't he? He really does. He does a great job against the best. So does Jose Bautista. Jose has singled already against Scherzer. That came with 2 outs and 2 strikes. He also got a leadoff single in the 9th off Joe Nathan. And he was the tying run. He reached but was stranded. Bautista didn't like it. Thought it was low. He had a good look at it. Expressing his thoughts to Adrian Johnson, the home plate on the back, in a very civil manner.
Don't look at him. Just have your say. You can voice your displeasure, but don't look at him.
Right back over the mound. Kinsler goes to second for 1. Back to first. Nice play by the second baseman. 2 down.
The 2014 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car 16 years in a row, and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
It is Junior Jays Saturdays. Lots of activities for the youngsters here at Rogers Center. Bautista hit it hard. Looked like it had a chance to sneak through the infield, but he and Kinsler got over there and turned it into a double play.
Another instance where the shift pays off for the defensive team. That ball looked like it was heading into center field for a base hit. Well, there is Ian Kinsler to turn it into a double play.
Breaking ball flanked off the glove of Brian Holiday. Johnny Navarro flied out his first time up. That ended the first. There's a pop-up on the infield. Eugenio Suarez, the shortstop, is there. The inning is over. Leadoff single, double play. Just 10 pitches for Scherzer. Scoreless game. Now it's time for Blue Jays Central. Here's Jamie Campbell at Greg's Arm. play. And a leadoff base hit, and there was a questionable call in it at bat, and Bucky has a couple words as he makes his way back for the home plate umpire, Adrian Johnson. And obviously, when you have an at bat, everybody's focused, especially against a guy like Max Scherzer. He's saying, you know what, Scherzer doesn't need any help. Just don't call balls strikes, and he's tough enough without getting any help.
Yeah, I think there's a little frustration also because he hit that ball right back through the middle. He should get a hit on that. It looked like it was going to be a single. But there was Kinsler in the shift. He turns it into a double play.
I think they should go to the NBA rule and have illegal defense. Too many guys in one spot, especially where I hit them.
No zone. No zone defense.
No zone defense. You got to play man on net. Come on. We go to the fifth. Beautiful pitchers duel. Each team with just 2 hits. J.D. Martinez put together a nice year. 315 and 48. Good complementary numbers when you got impact hitters like Cabrera and Martinez and Torrey Hunter.
They got him late in spring training from the Houston Astros. Good pickup. Spent last year with Houston. Got into 86 games, just under 300 at bats, hit 17 doubles.
Another bouncing ball. Kawasaki's been busy at third. He's handled everything. Five assists already for Kawasaki, including a double play. Stroman's got that ball sinking, and everything has been pulled to the third baseman.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's that two-seamer against those right-handers, and they're getting it out in front, topping it.
Castellanos right to Bautista. 2 up, 2 down quickly here in the fifth. Nick Castellanos lining out to Bautista.
Barely had to move on that one, had him played perfectly. Castellanos has some power the other way. Bautista had him positioned.
Catcher Brian Holiday. He grounded out to Kawasaki. Munenori playing his 12th game at third base. Another good breaking ball. Well, Stroman is much sharper, obviously, today, not only with his location, but there's a bite on his breaking ball he didn't have the last time out.
Yeah, he had the roller or the spinner, whatever you want to call it, heading up to the plate. Just couldn't finish off the Houston Astros. Today, it's back. He's got that extra day of rest. He's got good numbers when he gets that extra day of rest.
Ground ball again, Kawasaki. It's like a vacuum at third today. 7 pitches for Stroman in the fifth. He is really stymieing the Tigers. Take on the Tampa Bay Rays. Game time is 1:07 p.m. The first 20,000 fans will receive a Mark Burley bobblehead. Call the Jays at 416-341-1234 or log online at BlueJays.com and get your tickets for the Mark Burley bobblehead day, Sunday, August 24th. Hard to believe we're talking about August 24th already as the games are winding down. We are in the dog days of August. Neither pitcher looks like they're in the dog days today.
You look at the numbers for Max Scherzer in the month of August. 31 appearances in August in his career. 15-6. He doesn't slow down.
There's another good changeup. It has been a great pitch for Scherzer. He has brought that into the mix the last couple of years. Tigers starting pitching has been very good over the last 19 games coming in. They have a .313 earned run average. That's why it's a little bit surprising they have struggled so coming out of the All-Star break. They're 10-12 since the All-Star break. But it's not because they're starting pitching.
Right. They're just not hitting on all cylinders offensively yet. And the big guy is not really swinging it like he can. That's Miguel Cabrera.
High pop-up into shallow left field. Eugenio Suarez, the shortstop, makes the catch. One down. Well, let's take a look at the Tigers rotation. And, of course, you're talking about a lot of award winners. Justin Verlander, 2011 Cy Young and MVP. Scherzer won the Cy Young Award last year. David Price, newly acquired to the Tigers, won in 2012. Sanchez, an ERA champion, 2013, and Rick Porcello. He's the wins leader this season, so that is a star-studded starting rotation to be sure.
You know what? I think I would take my chances with those 5 guys right there.
Way to go out on a limb.
I know. I don't care who's hitting for my team.
Okay, who's going to start the playoffs?
For Detroit?
Yeah.
Game 1?
Game 1.
All right. Who are they playing?
That's a cop-out.
I know.
Pick one of the 5.
I would take.
Who would you send to the mountain?
Verlander.
Me too.
He's your number 1 guy. He's always been your number 1 guy. Although he's having a subpar season for him, he has that ability to take it to the next level.
He's the alpha dog, that's for sure. And he's been there the longest. He is going to be there the longest. Verlander has a 7-year contract that runs through 2019. Another good off-speed pitch, another strikeout. That's 4 strikeouts for Max Scherzer.
That changeup was in a much better place. Last time up, Scherzer thought he had given up a home run to Juan Francisco on a changeup. That one was up, this one was down, and he gets himself a strikeout. Tough to lay off of that one. 4th strikeout of the afternoon.
Munenori Kawasaki grounded out to second in his only at bat. The Tigers have a philosophy of how to develop starting pitching, and they utilize that philosophy top to bottom in the minor leagues. Had a long chat with Dave Dombrowski, the general manager of the Tigers, yesterday, and we discussed their philosophy and what they think about trying to build starting pitchers. And as the game goes on, we'll get into that. Dombrowski has been a marvelous executive for a number of years. He's in his 13th season with the Tigers, and he's got a cast of support assistants that are terrific, and they have been together a long time.
Continuity with all the guys that he has had around him.
Yeah, he has done a great job, and Alavila has been a long-time assistant of his. They came together in Florida and moved here to the Tigers. As we mentioned, this is his 13th season at the helm of Detroit. Another changeup, another strikeout. Max Scherzer is dealing. Quite a pitching duel. It's a scoreless game after 5. And now, fans, here comes the Home Hardware Cleanup Crew, brought to you by Natura. Home Hardware's exclusive line of safe, environmentally friendly cleaning products. baseball. Listen to live audio. Follow games pitch by pitch and enjoy in-game video highlights. The app is available on the iPhone, iPad, iPod Touch, Android, and BlackBerry. Season-long subscription packages are available. Visit BlueJays.com for more details. At bat, keep you up to date on everything, and you can bring it to the ballpark with you and check out the stats and everything behind the scenes as you watch the game live here with Rogers. Marcus Stroman matching Max Scherzer pitch for pitch. 0-0 ball game. Eugenio Suarez, the shortstop. Had a 2-out walk in the third inning. He was stranded. As the Tigers have stranded 2, the Blue Jays have left 1.
These are the kind of games when you're getting great starting pitching like that, where playing the game the right way is going to win the game. You make a mistake, either an error or you don't advance a runner or something like that, that's what's going to cost you.
Anthony Ghost ranging back near the warning truck is there and holds it in. Suarez is retired. Well, here's a key at bat in this ball game. Rajai Davis has got 2 singles. You got to keep him off the base. He's a threat to run, and certainly in a scoreless game, that threat is increased.
And we saw it for years when he played here for the Toronto Blue Jays, how he could create runs all by himself with his great speed.
Yeah, he single-handedly won 4 or 5 games just with his legs for the Blue Jays last season. Come off the bench, steal second, steal third, and score on a ground ball.
Had a good game yesterday.
There's a broken bat. Goins quickly to first, and they finally retire Rajai Davis. A broken bat dribbler to the second baseman. Speaking of broken bats, last night in the ball game in Milwaukee, Yasiel Puig checked his swing and snapped a bat in 2. It was unbelievable. And if you haven't seen it, check out the video. And you can do that on that bat, of course. But go ahead and look at the video of Puig, and he checks his swing, and he literally had his hands right by his chest, and the bat just snapped at the handle. Incredibly strong.
Some kind of strong to be able to do that.
Ian Kinsler pulls a base hit through the left side, a 2-out base hit.
I saw Bo Jackson strike out in Milwaukee and take the bat, put it on his helmet, and actually break a bat over his head. It wasn't cracked. He just snapped it with his strength.
Yeah, Bo Jackson's in a similar category with Yasiel Puig.
They've been compared to each other physically.
Miguel Cabrera, a couple of ground outs so far. Kinsler at first. Kinsler's a good base stealer, and he picks his spots very prudently. He's 10 for 13, and obviously in a scoreless game, this is a big spot. Stroman was very deliberate when he threw that first pitch to Cabrera.
That first pitch, it did not look like Kinsler was going to steal. You can see he does not have a very aggressive lead over at first base. Doesn't look like he's going anywhere.
Remember, this is the first time he's been on base with Stroman on the mound. So he's not really sure about how quick or how slow Stroman might be to the plate. He wants to see firsthand.
Cut fastball right there to head. Cabrera messed up. Again, he's at his finest when he's going the other way. Miguel Cabrera, and the Blue Jays defense reflects that in the outfield. Ghost is actually shading into right center field. In center field, you see him out there?
late on that pitch, and he pops it into the seats out of play. Miguel Cabrera oftentimes has been pitched around. He's only been given 6 intentional walks this season. Flip side of that, Victor Martinez has been walked 16 times intentionally. The reason Cabrera doesn't get walked intentionally is because Martinez is hitting behind him.
Who's a great RBI man. Switch hitter, 300 hitter, good RBI man. That's why we got to get this guy right here.
Full count, 2 outs. Kinsler will be off on the pitch. Outfielders really have to be aware if there's a base hit, they got to cut it off. There goes the runner. Ball 4. Well, the Blue Jays have slipped into 3rd place in the AL East, but they still have a playoff position in their sights. You look at the American League wild card race, the Angels have a 5.5 game cushion. Royals have the 2nd spot, and then the Yankees and the Mariners are a half game back. Blue Jays a game and a half back. And of course the Blue Jays are going to Seattle. Start a 3-game series on Monday. Kansas City's playing some good baseball right now. They have won 5 straight, 8 of their last 10, and they're just 2.5 back of the Tigers.
Yeah, they have just zoomed right up the standings. Blue Jays got their chance over the next couple days. They go out to Seattle.
Victor Martinez has seen Stroman now for 2 at-bats. He had a lengthy at-bat in the 2nd and drew a walk.
Ryan Goins, you talk about infielders knocking the ball down, keeping it in the infield here with a runner at second base. He's taking that to the extreme. You can see Ryan out in short right field.
Well, by stationing yourself so deep at second base, you improve your range, and Goins has a strong arm. So if there is a base hit that he can glove, he still has the arm strength to throw out Martinez.
Or Kinsler on a ball, let's say up the middle, where he has to dive, knock it down. He can throw from short center field. Kinsler's going to try and score on anything into the outfield.
Ball and a strike. There's a base hit down the left side. Kinsler's around third. He's going to score. Cabrera's headed to third. He's being waved home. Here's a throw from Reyes to home plate. Not in time. Victor Martinez does it again. Another big opposite field 2-run double.
And that's why he is so hard to defend, Victor Martinez, and why he is such a good RBI producer. 2 outs. He can hit the ball from foul line to foul line. It looked like Marcus threw a good pitch. Sinker down and away. It's going away from Martinez, but he stays right on it. And that ball, he keeps it fair down the left field line. Cabrera goes over to dig it out in the outfield. If he could have thrown it on the other side of Reyes, you see Jose Reyes has to reach back towards the infield to catch that ball. He just couldn't get anything on it to get Cabrera at the plate.
First 2 runs of the ball game. Victor Martinez, RBIs number 67 and 68. He's in position for Torrey Hunter. There's a fly ball to right. Bautista broke back. Now he's got a dive and picks it right up the top of the turf before it hit the ground. He saves a run for Marcus Stroman. The Tigers break through. They lead it 2-0. It would have been 3-0 had not Bautista made this fine catch to end the inning. was made, everybody went, Max Scherzer, really? But under Dave Dombrowski, the Tigers have made some very good trades, including picking up Miguel Cabrera from Florida. Max Scherzer came from Arizona. Aníbal Sanchez came in a different deal from the Florida Marlins. They've done a great job of identifying their needs and going out and completing those deals that have turned this team into a perennial.
You know what has allowed him to do that? He's had players in his system that other teams have wanted. He has seen, identified players in other organizations, asked for them, and those other organizations wanted his players back. He gave away some good players to acquire those pitchers and those hitters.
Well, you think about the Infante and Sanchez trade from Florida. They gave away Jacob Turner, who at the time was one of the top right-handed pitching prospects. And Drew Smyly is no slouch by any means. He was traded for David Price.
Andrew Miller was traded away by the Tigers. Austin Jackson.
Goins strikes out. That's 6 strikeouts for Scherzer, including 3 in a row.
You know, you mentioned that you were talking with Dave Dombrowski, and I thought something was really interesting what he said about what they identify in pitchers when they want to draft them.
Long and lean bodies.
Yes.
They want tall players that are long and lean.
Think about the guys that they've picked up. Verlander, Andrew Miller, who they drafted and they've traded away. Scherzer. David Price is a perfect example of
Rick
that.
Porcello.
Long and lean.
Doug Fister they acquired in a trade from Seattle. But I asked him about developing starting pitching, and he said, we have a philosophy where we want our starters to pitch late into a game. Even the young pitchers in the minor leagues, we want them to pitch and understand that 5 innings is not acceptable. 6 innings is not acceptable. And he said when you put together a team, you think about the weakest link of your ball club, and that's middle relief. So ideally, you want the middle relief pitchers to pitching as little as possible. And I asked him this question. I said, well, how do you explain that to a starting pitcher? And he just suggests, well, who do you want taking the ball out of your hand? The closer or the middle reliever? Pretty simple.
Good way to look at it. Jack Morris used to say all the time he'd start warming up and Sparky would get one of those middle relievers warming up in the bullpen. He says, you're not taking me out of this game. I'm not giving the ball to that guy. This is my game.
2-2. And folks, believe me, Jack Morris would say that to Sparky Anderson. He's not better than I am right now, so I'm staying in this game.
Love that mindset.
Reyes is on deck. Goes with a 3-2 count. Changeup, boy, that has been his bread and butter pitch. 7 strikeouts now for Scherzer.
4 in a row. Now getting stronger as this game goes along. He's mixing a lot of pitches, different pitches. Backdoor breaking ball. He can go curveball if he wants to. He can go upstairs if he needs to. He can go changeup. So many different ways to get you out. The left-handers better be wary of that changeup. That's a changeup to Moon over in Kawasaki for a strikeout. That ended the 5th inning. 4 in a row.
Why is the changeup so effective for Scherzer?
Well, I think it's effective, first of all, to left-handers because he throws so hard, number one, and you have to be ready to get on the number one. But the changeup right there, he throws it out of the same arm slot. He throws it with the same arm speed. You think it's a fastball, and it just dies at the plate.
The changeup is a pitch that requires a lot of confidence. When pitchers come to the big leagues, the last thing they want to do is throw a pitch anything less than 100%. It takes a while before you understand that 100% isn't always the best way to approach things. Reyes pulls it outside of first. And you mentioned that Scherzer really started trusting the changeup his last 2 seasons.
And he has just taken off. You and I talk to former pitchers all the time that we see around the ballpark. To a man, every one of them say when I learned to throw the changeup or that batting practice fastball, when I gained confidence in throwing that batting practice fastball, I got a lot of outs and I became a much better pitcher. And that's confidence. You have to have confidence in it.
And there's a fastball at 93. It looks like 103 after a steady diet of changeups. Scherzer lost his last start. He threw 115 pitches against the Yankees over 7 innings. I personally counted 47 changeups he threw in those 115 pitches. Well, there's a hanging slider, and Reyes jumped all over it. That was a hit-me slider up about a letter high out over the plate.
Finger cooked tonight. Order from over 100 menu items at bostonpizza.com. Proud partner of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Beautiful day in Toronto. A lot of people out and about. Gorgeous summer afternoon. Melky Cabrera with Reyes at first. How would you look for a changeup in a situation like this if you were Melky Cabrera? Would you just eliminate everything else?
You know, if you want to. I mean, that's how you hit it. A changeup if you're going to just sit on it. Take the fastball, even though it's down the middle of the plate early in the count. You can't do it when you get to 2 strikes, obviously. But if you feel in your heart that he's going to throw you a changeup and you want to sit on it, go up there and look for it.
Now, why wouldn't you after you've seen so many changeups to left-handed hitters from Scherzer? And the ball driven to the alley. Rajay Davis running. He's not going to get this one. It bounces and stays in the ballpark. Reyes coming around third. There'll be no throw, and Melky Cabrera has put the Jays on the board.
Blue Jays caught a break right there. That ball looked like it was going to bounce out of the ballpark. On a day like today, that turf gets warm. It gets very bouncy. But they caught a break. Fastball down and away, and Melky Cabrera just keeps on hitting. If this ball bounces out of play, Reyes is going to go back to third base. But watch where it hits. Right on the top of the wall, and that bar right on top of the wall kicks it back into fair territory. Melky's got his 30th double and another RBI.
And his 44th multi-hit game. That ties him with Robinson Cano for second in the AL. Bautista fouls it out of play. That double is also the 30th double for Melky Cabrera. He's in the top 10 in that department. Melky's name is across the board in many offensive categories.
His career high in doubles, 44. Got a chance for that.
That was his 150th hit of the season. This is the 112th game for the Blue Jays. Scherzer ahead of Bautista 0-2. 2 outs. Melky the tying run at second. Bautista strikes out. Another strikeout for Scherzer. He strikes out the side. But a 2-out single and an RBI double. It's a 1-run game. Melky Cabrera picking up his 61st ribby of the season. day, they cover every angle of the Toronto Blue Jays. Shied of Eating takes you beyond the bases with in-depth analysis and expert opinion. Shied of Eating, MLB Insider only on Sportsnet.ca. Beautiful shot of CN Tower right next door to Rogers Center, not far away from Lake Ontario. And boy, what a good day it would be to jump on a little boat and take a spin around Center Island after this game.
It's a gorgeous day. Not a cloud in the sky, no humidity. Good day to be up on the edge walk.
Good day to be on the edge walk? I can think of better places to be than the edge walk.
I was going to say, you're not answering there, huh?
2-1 ball game. J.D. Martinez, the sixth hitter in the Tigers line. Martinez has grounded out twice to the third baseman. Lunenori Kawasaki has had 6 plays at third base today as Marcus Stroman has used that two-seam fastball and got a lot of ground balls to third.
Got a lot of quick outs with that little two-seamer where the righties have topped it to third. Just one strikeout, and that's a good thing. Sometimes it helps you to go a little bit longer the ball game. Here we are in the 7th inning, and he's only thrown 79 pitches.
Of course, there are times when strikeouts are needed. Runner at third base and less than 2 outs, but Stroman has not dealt with those situations frequently here today. Strike 3 call. There's that swing back fastball. J.D. Martinez didn't like it.
The 2014 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car 16 years in a row, and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
There are the edge walkers high up top the CN Tower, and Pat and I can speak from experience. Been there, done that. Probably the last time I'll do it, but I didn't. Broken bat, little liner to the second baseman going. Nick Castellanos is retired.
That ball looked like it might have knuckled out towards Ryan Goins. He stayed right with it. Right off the end of the bat, probably broke his bat. Goins stayed with that one and reported the out. He looks good at second base. Turned a nice double play earlier against Torrey Hunter.
Catcher Brian Holiday foul tips it into the glove of Deanna Navarro. 2 outs. We're in the top of the 7th. There's a fly ball down the right side that's going to slice into the seats. Another great turnout today at Rogers Center, and why not? You got a great pitching duel. Stroman against Scherzer. 45,927. It's the 9th sellout of the season for the Blue Jays. Comes on a great weekend. The 30th annual Lady Jays food drive is going on. Kawasaki ranges to his left. Quick inning for Stroman. Another 10-pitch inning, and the Tigers are down in order. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. Blue Jays trail by a run. scoring in the 6th inning, and it's been a great pitcher's duel. The veteran Max Scherzer doing his thing again against the Blue Jays, and Marcus Stroman. A good bounce-back start for Stroman after a rough outing against the Astros.
Yeah, he's back. His fastball's back. He's using it. He's using his two-seamer also against those right-handers, getting a lot of ground ball outs. The slider, the curveball have been very good, and he's getting in and out of innings very quickly.
The Blue Jays have had 3 good starts on this homestand with Drew Hutchison, Jay Happ, and now Marcus Stroman all doing their thing.
John Gibbons was talking about that the other day, the manager of the Blue Jays, saying that we're getting the good starting pitching. We have to start taking advantage of that. Basically saying we got to start hitting.
Johnny Navarro over to Happ and Hutchison. Boy, what good starts they had, as Happ went 8 innings, allowed 2 runs on 5 hits. Unfortunately, he was a tough luck loser. Drew Hutchison, 8 2/3 of 1-hit ball. He allowed just 1 run. That was a home run to Chris Davis in the 2nd inning. He struck out 8 and was 1 out away from a complete game W. He too bouncing back after a bad start his previous timeout. Jay Happ has been remarkably consistent. It's a fly ball to left. J.D. Martinez over near the line. Navarro's retired, 1 down in the 7th. Well, Max Scherzer continues his dominance against the Blue Jays here in this ballpark. This is his 4th career start here at Rogers Center. He's 3-0 with a .233 earned run average. This is his 7th start against the Blue Jays. For his career, he's 4-0 with a .179 earned run average, and he's never allowed more than 2 earned runs in any of those 6 previous starts. Scherzer has allowed 2 home runs pitching in this ballpark. Jose Bautista hit a home run against him in a 7-1 Blue Jays loss back in 2010. Yunel Escobar hit a home run here in 2011 against Scherzer, again in a 10-5 Blue Jay loss.
Check out those scores. Here's the fastball. That's why he's giving up those home runs. Didn't want to walk anybody, challenge him.
Rasmus behind 0-2, and Scherzer wants to another sign. He wasn't sure of the count.
Today a little bit different, 1-run ball game. Every pitch is important.
This time he uses a breaking ball with 2 strikes. He has given the lefty bats a steady diet of changeups with 2 strikes this afternoon. He has recorded 8 strikeouts. Scherzer came into this game with 1,000 strikeouts. He was tied with Joe Coleman, who pitched in the early 70s for the Tigers, tied for 15th on the franchise strikeout list. Next on the list is the great right-hander Frank Larry. He has 1,031 strikeouts. So Scherzer now with 1,008.
I love the guys who are set to be free agents, and then they go out. They don't sign the extension. They go out and prove their worth.
Ground ball, fair ball. Rasmus is retired, 2 down. Well, you're right. And Scherzer, he turned down a 6-year contract offered by the Tigers back in spring training. And you look at Scherzer's dominance, and this is the win percentage in the major league since 2010. He's top of the heap ahead of some pretty impressive pitchers.
And so, did Clayton Kershaw sign for what? $300 million?
$300 million.
$300 million. Max Scherzer has got a little bit better winning percentage, so turning down that big contract, is he going to be in Clayton Kershaw type of money? I don't know. But he's a free agent, elected not to sign that contract, and he's putting up numbers. John Lester's the same way.
Yeah, they're both in the same category for sure. Fastball located down and away.
I mean, there's some pitchers who would take the mound knowing that they're pitching for a big contract and they don't have the big year.
Well, one thing that Lester and Scherzer have in common, they can win in the postseason. And that's what free agents are all about. Generally, free agents have made a lot of money. And the last piece to their career, World Series championships. Elevated the fastball, 95. Scherzer still bringing the heat late in the game. Strikeout, number 9. By authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership, it may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. A heck of a ball game going on here at Rogers Center on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Full house at Rogers Center, 45,927 in attendance, the 9th sellout of the season, and they have been entertained to a heck of a pitcher's duel. Marcus Stroman lasted just 3 innings his last time out. Different story today. But the 3 walks have proven costly. The 3rd walk came around to score in the 6th, and that's the difference in this ballgame.
Into the 8th inning. Marcus Stroman has thrown 8 innings one time in his career. That was against the Yankees back in June. Here he is again, sitting pretty at 86 total pitches.
He's done a good job today of using all his pitches and getting ahead. Not really racking up big strikeout numbers. He has just 2 strikeouts, but he has pitched very well. 0-2. Way upstairs. Eugenio Suarez, the shortstop. He has gone 0 for 1 with a walk. One of the 3 walks that Stroman has issued here this afternoon. The bullpens are quiet, of course. Full count. Leadoff man, number 9 hitter. I want to challenge him. Rajay Davis, 2 for 3, is on deck. Kawasaki. He's handled everything thrown his way. 1 out. The play of the game is brought to you by the Sleeman Speakeasy. Only the notorious get in. Enter for your chance at SleemanSpeakeasy.ca.
Rajai Davis ranks third in the American League with 26 stolen bases. First inning, he's on at second base, nobody out, and the play of the game is Marcus Stroman strike to second base to pick off Rajai, eliminate that speed on the bases. Marcus Stroman did a good job of spinning and throwing a strike to second.
Rajai Davis takes one down the stairs. 299 for Davis on the season. He's had 4 hits in the first 2 games of this series.
He leads their club in stolen bases. You got to keep him off the bases with that great speed.
Check swing foul, and Stroman is ahead 1-2. Rajai has 26 steals. He's been caught 8 times. That's always been about his career percentage. There's a good fastball, late movement, and Davis strikes out. That's the 3rd strikeout for Stroman. Davis is 2 for 4.
And they indeed keep him off the bases. Watch this pinpoint control with the fastball, with a little sink to it at the end. Watch where it is, right on the outside part of the plate for the strikeout.
Fly ball slicing away from Ghost, but he's got the speed to close ground. Kinsler's retired. Fine running catch by Ghost. 7 straight retired by Stroman. A 2-1 game. Now it's time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn. On Sportsnet live on your smartphone. Visit RogersAnyPlaceTV.com/sports to get started. That is a great sign right there. Look at that sign. Kawasaki. How good is that?
Pretty good on your part. Very nice.
Yeah, I like to draw pictures.
Your granddaughters, that's where you learned it.
Munenori Kawasaki trying to get aboard. Blue Jays are down by a run. Each team with just 4 hits. Kawasaki lines it to center, but it hangs up for Rajai Davis. Another fine catch by Rajai.
Oh, that looked like it was going to be a leadoff single. Davis made the last out in last night's game, catching a ball just like this. He was playing left field, and he dove, ended the ball game, and that time comes up with another big play.
1 out here in the 8th. Ryan Goins is the scheduled batter. He'll be removed in favor of the pinch hitter. Danny Valencia is in the batter's box, pinch hitting for the second baseman, Ryan Goins. Valencia has home run power. He is just 2 for 11 against Scherzer, but at least he knows what he's dealing with. He's faced him a lot. And that's how you handle a pinch hitter.
Yeah, come right after him. Use that big fastball.
A 3-pitch strikeout, 97 miles an hour on the 103rd pitch of the game. That's what you call saving a little extra for a big moment.
Yeah, he's got plenty in the tank, and he's getting stronger. After that hit by Melky Cabrera back in the 6th inning, it's like Scherzer's taking it to the next level.
Nolan Reimel will come off the bench. He's batting for Anthony Gose. He too gets a fastball at 96. Wicked slider. 5 straight strikes to the 2 pinch hitters. Little punctuation mark for Scherzer here in the 8th. 3 up, 3 down. Couple of strikeouts. Strikeout number 10, strikeout number 11. Scherzer still got plenty left in the tank. Changes. Munenori Kawasaki started at 3rd. He takes over at 2nd for Ryan Goins. Danny Valencia hit for Goins. He takes over at 3rd defensively. Jose Bautista was in right. He is now in center. With Anthony Gose being lifted for the pinch hitter, Nolan Reimel moves into play right field. So plenty of changes as John Gibbons took a shot with a couple of pinch hitters in the 8th inning, and now Marcus Stroman is back to start the 9th. Stroman has been impressive, save 1 pitch. Victor Martinez hit a 2-run double in the 6th inning. Both clubs scoring in the 6th, and that's been it. It's a 2-1 ball game. Miguel Cabrera is 0 for 2 with a walk. Stroman ahead, 0-2. There's that two-seam fastball. Cabrera pleading his case that it was outside. One out. Cabrera not wanting to give up his argument. Osmus is going to keep him into the game. So Stroman strikes out Miguel Cabrera to start the inning. Cabrera 0 for 3 this afternoon. 0 for 8 in the series. Victor Martinez, the 2-run double in the 6th, provided the only runs for the Tigers. He had a tough pitch. Sinking fastball down and away. He stroked it down the left field line to drive home 2.
It's been a big pitch this afternoon for Marcus Stroman. Good hitters. They can hit good pitchers. Remember early in the game, his first at bat, Victor Martinez, we were talking about him looking over everything that Marcus Stroman had to offer. Sinker, curveball, changeup, fastball, just to wait for that opportunity when he had some runners on base, and he took advantage of it.
He has driven in 100 runs 4 times in his career. He has always been a good clutch hitter. He's a 4-time All-Star. He's hit 20 home runs 5 different times in his career. And this all given the fact he missed the entire 2012 season. He's a hard worker, obviously, to get himself back to this stage of his career at such a high level. He's 35 years old.
In the final year of his contract with the Tigers.
Aaron Loop, just in case. 3-1, 1 out. Full count. On the other side of the diamond, Joe Nathan loosening up. Picked up the save in last night's game. He made it interesting. The Jays had the bases loaded in the ninth. Pulled Kawasaki from shallow right field. 2 down. Drive of the Game is brought to you by the 2014 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car 16 years in a row, and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Victor Martinez has also won a Silver Slugger Award in the American League when he was with the Indians in 2004 with hits just like this. Slaps that ball down the left field line. 2 runs are going to score right now, the difference in the ball game. That hit right there by Victor Martinez.
Torrey Hunter 0 for 3. He is 2 for his last 23. The Blue Jays have lost some tough games on this homestand. A 2-1 loss on Thursday night, 5-4 last night, and they trailed 2-1. Off the end of the bat, Reyes. Tricky hop. Will go to the bottom of the ninth. Blue Jays trail 2-1. Jose Reyes will lead things off. Melky Cabrera. 2 more hits today. Jose Bautista 1 for 3. faced after that 2-out double in the 6th inning, and the crowd appreciates the strong effort for Stroman. He goes 9 innings and gives up just 2 runs. 4 hits, 2 earned runs. He walked 3, and that third walk came around to score the second run in the 6th. And that's the difference in this game. He threw 109 pitches. He was in total command of a very good hitting Tiger club.
And a nice bounce back start after that start in Houston. Joe Nathan now into the ball game for the Detroit Tigers. The closer, 24 for 29 in saves this year. ERA up over 5 for the veteran Nathan. He got the save in last night's game, but it was rocky in the 9th inning.
Jose Reyes shows bunt, takes his strike. Nathan loaded the bases with a couple of 2-out walks, but then got Josh Tolley to fly out to end the game. Picked up the 24th save of the season. Reyes, Cabrera, and Bautista. High fly ball. Corey Hunter over near the wall, and it's out of play beyond his reach. Max Scherzer, what a terrific performance by Scherzer here. He continues to dominate the Blue Jays in this ballpark.
8 innings, just 4 hits, 1 earned run. He didn't walk anybody and had his 5th double-digit strikeout game of the season. 11 more punch-outs. He did it all in just 106 pitches. And how about the exclamation point he had to end the 8th inning?
A couple of pinch hitters, he struck them out. Overpowered both Valencia and Raimo. Reyes checked his swing. 1-2. Scherzer dropped his ERA to 3.13. Pulled foul. Look out, Timmy. Tim Leeper, the first base coach, had to get out of the way as he was in foul ground. Reyes needs to get aboard, obviously. Marcus Stroman. A dominant performance here today, but his team trails by a run.
Jose's been good on those breaking balls, hasn't he? With 2 strikes, he's been staying back, and he's just using his hands. He punched a single to center field in the 6th inning. Came around to score on that double by Melky by just staying back and just using his hands.
Reyes has faced Nathan just 2 times. He is 1 for 2 against the Tigers closer. Leadoff double looked good right now. There's a base hit. Reyes is aboard. He represents the tying run.
Another good 2-strike approach by Jose Reyes. You get to 2 strikes, you got to defend that turf up around home plate. So you want to spread out just a little bit more. Just use your hands. He does right there and just punches it the other way. Marcus Stroman, he's not going anywhere. He wants a win.
Blue Jays had their leadoff man aboard against Nathan last night. Bautista with a leadoff single. But they would leave the bases loaded and lose 5-4. Another 2-hit game for Melky Cabrera. He's driven in the only Jays run of the afternoon. Blue Jays have had 4 walk-off wins this season. Melky's 2 for 5 against Nathan.
Ball in the dirt. Blue Jays, when trailing after 8 innings, 0-51. I think today is a good time to break that. They got the right guys coming up for them. Their best hitters. And it started off nicely with that base hit by Reyes.
Boy, Reyes really got out on that turf. He almost had both feet on the artificial turf. He was trying to draw a throw from Nathan, and he did. He is 21 for 22 in steals. There he goes. He got a good jump. Throw to second. Not in time. Tying runs at second.
They are waiting for the time on Joe Nathan, deliberately getting that ball to the plate. Reyes picked up on that, and he stole that one easily. Got the big lead. Watch the jump. High leg kick, no chance for Holiday to throw him out.
Suarez made a nice tag, and he says, hey, I want you to review it. He tagged Reyes on the feet as he slid by, but it looked like Reyes was already in contact with the second base bag. Brad Osmus out to talk to Chad Fairchild, second base umpire, and take a look at the swipe tag. Boy, he got that tag on him quickly.
He got it down quickly. But it looked like Reyes had his hands in there, and they're going to replay this one, review it.
Boy, the cloud of dirt really kept us from seeing Reyes make contact with the second base bag. Suarez appears to tag him on the feet. There. Is Reyes on the bag at second? Can't tell.
He should be. His left arm is by the bag. So the right hand has to be on it.
Well, the crowd is giving the umpiring crew their opinion of whether or not it should be reversed. Bill Miller is the crew chief. He's on the left side of that shot of the two umpires.
You know, it was interesting that his left hand, the one with the sliding pad on it, was actually off the bag and past the bag when the tag was applied.
That's a good point. It was certainly extended beyond the base, but it appeared to be off second base. Suarez goes into the throw and swipe tags Reyes. His left hand didn't make contact at all with second base.
No, it was his right hand. Well, you got to think that the right hand was on the bag. You're right, the dirt that came up on that slide really prohibited you to see if the hand was on the bag.
Well, obviously, it's a pivotal call. They have sent the decision for review. Reyes called safe on the field. And it takes conclusive evidence in New York of the replay to overturn the call on the field. We haven't seen anything that would suggest they would reverse it. Reyes with the leadoff single. Timed his jump perfectly. Suarez made the tag. Now the umpires have the decision. Bill Miller on the left. Rule safe, and the play stands. Brad Osmus now out to talk to Joe Nathan. Interesting, as the manager now, they're going to come about the strategy of pitching in this situation, and this is the toughest stretch of the Blue Jays lineup.
Yeah, Scherzer did his part, 8th inning. Now the closer, Joe Nathan, trying to finish it off. They also have Joaquin Soria in their bullpen, but no one throwing.
Brad Osmus spent 18 years as a major league catcher, so he understands these situations. He wanted to go out there and make sure everybody on the infield was up to speed. Obviously, with Melky Cabrera and Bautista, you're not going to do anything tricky right here. You got the tying run in scoring position. 2 balls and a strike. Boy, Reyes kept inching off second base, very quietly gaining ground as Nathan was set. Suarez shadowing him at short. Cabrera with a good cut. Melky's had 2 hits tonight. Had an RBI single last night. Had a 3-hit game here on Wednesday night. Bautista is on deck. Marcus Stroman with a terrific start, allowing 2 runs on 4 hits through 9 innings.
That's the pitch they want to try and get Cabrera out with right there, that elevated fastball. With 2 strikes, it's tough to let it go. He's fouled off a couple of them.
Nathan has 5 blown saves this season. The Tigers have 10 blown saves. That's the fewest in the American League. 3-0 to Cabrera. Fly ball to right. Hunter backing up, Reyes tagging at second. He will advance to third. So now the tying run just 90 feet away.
I'll tell you what, Melky Cabrera just missed that pitch, that curveball. After a couple of fastballs, the curveball is hit to right field. They think they've got a game winner, and then they realize that it's going to send Hunter to the warning track.
Well, that shows you the tension and the emotion for both of these teams. It's pennant race baseball. Jose Bautista. They're going to put him on.
Whoa, that one was pretty close.
So they will walk Bautista, who would represent the winning run. They have rattled the cage of Deoner Navarro.
He has come up with big base hits all season long, and since John Gibbons has put him in that cleanup spot, he has come up with clutch hits.
Would you walk Navarro as well? Tough to put Bautista at second base.
Yeah, that's the winning run. The gamble here, the percentage that they're playing is we're not going to let Bautista beat us, and we'll set up the double play.
Certainly Navarro, who doesn't run well and hits the ball sharply, a candidate for a double play. You can see the infield coach Omar Vizquel signaling to the infielders that up the middle we're going to go for 2. The corner infielders appear to be playing in to make a play to the plate. Omar Vizquel, first base coach and infield coach, has given the instructions, and he's checking out the defense. 1 out. Navarro is 0 for 3. A couple of flyouts and a pop-up.
Blue Jays couldn't come up with the big hit last night against Nathan. Maybe this afternoon they can.
Blue Jays loaded the bases last night against Nathan. Couldn't get it done. The tying run at third. The winning run at first. Ball on his strike.
As a hitter here, you're thinking about driving the run in with a fly ball. So you want to pick out a pitch Here are the numbers. Navarro versus Nathan in his career, just 1 for 5. You want to pick out on a pitch, something out over the plate, something that's up that you can get into the outfield.
Navarro has been one of the best Blue Jay hitters in getting the runner in from third. He's had 24 RBIs with a runner at third.
This time it's less than 2 outs, so a long fly ball do the trick.
2-1, 1 out. When Nathan's giving him pitches up in the zone that he can drive. Obviously, Navarro wants to hit the ball in the air. Rasmus is on deck if Navarro can stay out of a double play. Hit to the right side. Reyes comes in. We're tied at 2.
Got himself into a fastball count. Got a fastball from Nathan over the middle, and he rips it by the first baseman, Cabrera. He gets that runner in from third base, ties it up as that ball is smoked in the right field. Hunter gets over, cuts it off, and gets it back very quickly. So Bautista can't go first to third, and Marcus Stroman sticking around. He wants a win.
Colby Rasmus 0-for-3. Bautista broke the third and stopped. Wow. He had a good jump.
Yes, he did.
He was ready to steal third and just didn't trust his jump.
Watch Bautista at second base. And then after it, man, I should have gone. Outfield is in. Not very deep. Line drive. They got to be able to make a play at the plate. Wow.
Tough pitch down and away, called a strike.
He doesn't need any help. Players knew it. Thought that ball was low.
You don't think the players are into this? 0-2, Joe Nathan. A blown save. Ball gets away. Bautista to third. Navarro to second. The winning run just 90 feet away.
Breaking ball in the dirt. We were talking about a deal last night. He was catching for the Tigers. There's about 4 or 5 balls in the dirt that he blocked, kept in front of him. That time it looked like it ricocheted off the heel of the glove of the catcher, Holiday. Bounced away. The runners move up. Now the infield has to come in.
And the outfield as well. The outfield very shallow. Upstairs. Rasmus had a walk with 2 outs in the 9th against Nathan last night. The first of 2 2-out walks, so he has an idea what he's dealing with in Joe Nathan. 2-2.
They're going to go to the infield now.
5 infielders. Torrey Hunter has moved in on the infield. And now he's backing up. He came all the way in from right very late.
Joe Nathan was in the set position like he was ready to deliver the pitch.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Another ball in the dirt.
That time smothered by Holiday, the catcher. Good job by Rasmus laying off of that one. Juan Francisco on deck.
The Blue Jays came into the 9th inning 0-51 when trailing. They have tied it. Rasmus can win it. Ball 4.
He was trying to get Rasmus to fish, and Colby was having nothing to do with it. They had first base open. If they wanted to walk him, Colby very patient.
They got an interesting matchup now. Nathan working to Juan Francisco, who's 0-for-3 with a couple of strikeouts. And Brad Ausmus is going to make a pitching change. Nathan with 4 walks in an inning inning 1/3 the last 2 nights. So Ausmus, after the intentional walk, Nathan walks Rasmus to load the bases. Joaquin Soria, a closer in his own right. Joaquin Soria, acquired prior to the trade deadline from the Texas Rangers, makes his 41st appearance of the season.
Check all the way down towards the bottom there. 45 strikeouts, just 6 walks. He's going to come right after you. Fastball, he's got some cutting action on that fastball. Right-handers at just 175 by Soria this season. Lefties, 275. 2-4 with 365 earned run average. He came from Texas for a couple of minor leaguers.
Jose Bautista was walked intentionally. He's at 3rd. Navarro tied it up with an RBI single. He's at 2nd, and this has popped up on the first pitch. Francisco pops up, infield fly, and now there are 2 outs. So Francisco goes after the first pitch and pops out to the shortstop.
Here's what the fans came for. Right here, change up. Well, Francisco can't get the job done. 2 down. The infield can move back. The outfield can move back now. And fans came to see Kawasaki. He's got a chance to win it now.
Munenori Kawasaki. 0 for 3. He lined out to Rajai Davis. Back in the 8th. Joakim Soria with 2 outs. For 9 for his career with the bases loaded.
You know he's going to make him work too. He doesn't walk too many people. He's going to be around the plate.
Soria and Holiday can't get together on the pitch. Ball on the strike. The Blue Jays have tied it in the 9th. It's 2-2. Deanna Navarro with his 49th RBI of the season. A line drive into right. Soria, an all-star in 2008, 2010 with the Royals. 42 saves in 8, 43 in 10. He's been down this road before. Ground ball. Cabrera will go to the bag. Will go to the 10th. Soria strands the bases loaded. Max Scherzer and Marcus Stroman saddled with a no decision today. Aaron Loop into the game. Stroman. A terrific start today. He matched Max Scherzer pitch for pitch. And both starters now will be given a no decision.
Now it's up to the bullpens. First one out for the Blue Jays. It's Aaron Roop. Aaron pitched in last night's ball game. Faced one batter, and that was Miguel Cabrera, and he struck him out. There are his numbers this season for Roop. 3-3 with a .316 earned run average. Roop in his career versus the Detroit Tigers. He's faced 9 games. His ERA is .9. He's had success against this Tiger team.
He's into the ball game. And he'll face Ezequiel Carrera, who entered the game as a defensive replacement for J.D. Martinez. Took over in center. Luke delivers a first pitch strike. Carrera is called up from the minor leagues. Hit .307 in AAA, had 6 homers and 41 RBIs in 97 games. Two balls and a strike. Two balls and 2 strikes. We're in the 10th. Blue Jays tied it up with a run in the 9th. Yanner Navarro coming through. Reyes led it off with a single, stole second, and then scored from third on the base hit by Navarro. The Blue Jays in extra innings. This is just their 5th extra inning game of the season. They're 1-3. 0-1 at Rogers Center in extra frames.
Yeah, this is only their second extra inning game here at home, and an excellent chance there in the 9th inning. So did get the job done. You got to forget about that. Shut them down right here and try and win it in the bottom of the 10th. Luke's got a couple of left-handers he's got to face here to lead off the 10th inning.
He walks the leadoff man. In case you're just joining us, Marcus Stroman got the start today, and he was on his game.
Yeah, everybody was wondering how he was going to bounce back after his shortest outing as a starter with the Blue Jays last time out. Well, I think that was answered this afternoon. 9 innings, they gave up 4 hits, 2 earned runs. The only mistake was a double down the left field line by Victor Martinez that scored a couple of runs. His fastball was good. His breaking ball was good. I thought his two-seamer was the best that we've seen from him.
2 runs on 4 hits for the Tigers against Stroman. Don Kelly ended the game defensively at third base. He is batting in the 7th spot in place of Nick Castellanos. Kelly squares to Bond and bunts it between the mound and third. Valencia makes the play. Danny Valencia, pinch hit in the 8th, moved over to third defensively. So Kelly gets the job done. Carrera advances to second. That's Kelly's first sacrifice bunt of the season. Brian Holliday, the catcher, has grounded out 3 times to the third baseman. Quite a ball game here this afternoon. It certainly had pennant race feeling to it. Tigers 2.5 games up in the Central, trying to maintain their lead. They are 2-3 on their current road trip, losing 3 of 4 to the Yankees. Won the first one here last night. Luke didn't like the lead that he saw at second with Carrera, so he chased him back.
He started to bounce off after Luke gave him a quick look. Carrera's got some speed. He's had some big stolen base seasons in the minor leagues. 43 steals one year.
2-0. The Tigers have played 8 extra inning games. They're 4-4 in extras. There's a fly ball into shallow right. Reimold coming on. He gets there and makes the catch. 2 down. Take a look at these standings in the AL Central. Brad Osmus Tigers are 2.5 games ahead of the Royals. Indians have fallen back a bit. They're 7.5 back. White Sox 10 back. Kansas City will play later on tonight. The Giants are in Kansas City. It'll be Tim Hudson against James Shields in that game. Kansas City has played very well of late. They've won 5 straight.
Getting through a very tough part of their schedule right now. The Yankees, Toronto, they've got Pittsburgh, Seattle coming up, Tampa Bay, and then after that, exclusively within their division in the month of September.
The Tigers' strength of schedule, when you look at the opponent's record, their opponents are under 500 the rest of the way. The Blue Jays have the second toughest schedule, just behind the Yankees in strength of schedule from here on in. Take a look at the numbers we were talking about and the strength of schedule, the remaining schedule. The Yankees play teams with a .508 winning percentage. The Blue Jays are second. Seattle, who we'll see on Monday. And then the Tigers, Orioles, Athletics, Royals, and Angels all play teams that are under 500. So those are all the pennant contenders in the American League. There goes Carrera. The throw is not made. Navarro recognized that he didn't have much of a shot to throw out Carrera, who got a good lead and a walking jump toward third.
Yeah, he timed up. Aaron Luke, watch him. He's got the big lead, and then Aaron delivers the ball home, and Navarro had no chance.
It's his first big league steal, and a big one for sure. 2 outs now. He's just 90 feet away. Carrera made a great defensive play in Yankee Stadium in Scherzer's last start. Running away from the field, the extended full out, and took an extra base hit away from Jacoby Ellsbury. It resulted in a sac fly, but could have been 3 runs. 3-1. Fly ball to right. This should do it. Reimold over near the foul line, gets there and makes the catch. Luke gets through the top half of the 10th. We'll go to the bottom of the 10th. It'll be the bottom of the Blue Jays order. Soria threw a pitch. He was getting ready to warm up. He called the trainer out, and they have taken him out of the game. Something on his left back creating some problems. He is out of the game. So Brad Osmus has used Joe Nathan and Soria. Now he'll go deeper into his bullpen, and that looks like Jabba Chamberlain. Soria called the trainer out, Kevin Rand, and you can see they're paying attention to something in his left back around the rib cage. So Soria has been lifted from this game. Jabba Chamberlain comes out of the Tigers bullpen to pitch the bottom of the 10th in this 2-2 game. Injury to Joaquin Soria will make his 51st start. Former Yankee in his first season with the Tigers.
Yeah, he'll get as much time as he needs to get ready. He was down in that bullpen just kind of minding his own business when they called down there and said, look, there's something wrong with Soria, something on his left side. He's out of the game. Jabba's in. You can see his numbers 1-4, 293 earned run average. He still has that good fastball and a wipeout slider. He is second in the American League among relievers with 22 holds. And that's what they're looking for right here. They need another hold to send it to the next inning.
2-2 ball game in the bottom of the 10th. The Blue Jays have out-hit the Tigers 6-4. Aaron Luke worked the top of the 10th inning. Aaron Sanchez is warming up in case we go to the 11th. Jabba Chamberlain has pitched in 310 career games, 43 as a starter. The Yankees felt like his stuff might play well in the rotation. That never really worked out. 2009, he made 31 starts, went 9-6 with a 4.75 ERA. Fans, while we have a moment, we want to remind you about the Summer Friday Fan Festival. It's presented by Bacardi. The next Fan Festival will take place on Friday, August 22nd, when the Blue Jays take on the Tampa Bay Rays. Game time is 7:07 p.m., so come on down early to Rogers Center and check out the pregame festivities happening outside of Gate 10. Blue Jays alumni Dwayne Ward and Rance Mullinax will be signing autographs from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. So call the Blue Jays for tickets at 416-341-1234. Or log online to BlueJays.com and get your tickets for the next Summer Friday Fan Festival. It's all presented by Bacardi. Well, a sellout crowd on hand here at Rogers Center. Jabba Chamberlain has indicated he is ready. Danny Valencia struck out in the 8th inning, facing Max Scherzer as a pinch hitter. Scherzer struck out Valencia and Reimel, two pinch hitters that came to the plate in the 8th. The Blue Jays need a win. This is not horseshoes. You don't get any points for being close.
battled back there in the bottom of the ninth inning, had a chance to win it. Now they got another chance here against Chamberlain. Chamberlain still has that good fastball and a wipeout slider.
Job at Chamberlain has faced Danny Valencia. Valencia is 0 for 3 against Chamberlain. Boy, when he came up in 2007, he was the toast of the town in New York.
Yes, he was, and it looked like he was going to be the heir apparent to the closer, Mariano Rivera. But they put him in the starting rotation. They gave him the Java rules. Remember that? So many pitches, so many innings.
How'd that work? Ground ball. Suarez slips. Can't get much on the throw, and Valencia's aboard. Well, Eugenio Suarez got to the ball. When he went to plant his right foot, he lost his footing and couldn't get much on the throw.
Played a good shortstop. Here it is, in the hole, backhands. Watch him plant. And by that time, if he double clutched and tried to throw again, he was going to be late anyway. So he just lets it go. It's off target and late. Infield single.
Nolan Reimel, his only at bat was that pinch hit at bat against Scherzer, and he struck out. No signs of a bunt. Reimel's in the 9th spot. Reyes is next. Just in case Valencia was thinking about running. Fouled off by Nolan Reimel. Bottom of the 10th inning. Danny Valencia at first with the leadoff single. Driven to the alley. Rajay Davis not going to get it. Valencia's headed for third. He's being waved home, and the Blue Jays are going to win it. Nolan Reimel, a walk-off double.
Looked like a slider right there from Chamberlain, and Reimel's got plenty of power. He drives this ball to the gap. Again, it stays in the ballpark, bounces up against the wall. No chance for the Tigers to get it in. Valencia circles the bases. Blue Jays have a big win. Here comes Valencia. He's reading that ball away. He could slow down. No chance. Blue Jays come back and win the game.
How about the new guys? Valencia with an infield single. He scores on the double by Nolan Reimel. A terrific effort by everybody involved. The Blue Jays tied it up in the 9th. Deanna Navarro with an RBI single. It's the first win for the Blue Jays when trailing after 8. They came back and tied it in the 9th. They win it in the 10th. Their 5th walk-off win of the season.
They were 0-51 before today. And how about the two guys at the bottom there? Valencia, remember, they pinch hit in the 8th inning, and Scherzer blew him away with a couple of fastballs. He struck out Reimel. A little chance for a little redemption. Infield single, double. Blue Jays have the win.
Blue Jays win at 3-2. Let's check in with Barry Davis, who's with Nolan Reimel.
Thanks a lot, Buck. Nolan, talk about that at bat. You and Valencia both had the opportunities earlier in the game to pinch hit. You both struck out, and you both come through in the bottom of the 10th.
Yeah, glad we got another opportunity, so just really happy to come through. You know, I thought I missed my pitch the pitch before, but stayed ready and put it into play.
John Gibbons was just saying yesterday this team is really missing some of that late game magic. I know you haven't been here all year, but you've been with teams that